children, how are you doing? I hope you all are fine. So let's take the new topic. New topic is local self-government in rural areas. So learning part भी देख लेते हैं एक बार बच्चों. 3-tier system, panchayats at block level, significance of panchayati raj, panchayats at village level and block levels, panchayats at district level, the state governments and panchayati raj. तो इन सब के बारे में आज हम जानने वाले हैं. आप बताइए, आप रेडी हैं? Let's begin. Civic amenities like water supply, electricity, transport facilities, educational institutions, sanitation, health care centers etc. are essential for a good life. ये सब की बहुत ज़रूरत है एक अच्छे हेल्दी इंसान रहने के लिए. Individuals cannot afford to have these facilities by themselves. The government provides and manages these amenities. तो ये सारी सुविधाएं सरकार के द्वारा दी जाती हैं. Since India is a big country, the governance of the country is carried on at several levels. That is, at the central level, at the state level. Besides, there are a number of districts divided into several blocks, and each block consisting of several villages. It is impossible for the central and the state governments to solve all the problems at local levels. This purpose is well served by the local self-government. In villages, the panchayats are the self-government bodies. The importance and advantages of the local self-government include the following. The local people and their representatives can better understand the problems and needs for their village or town. Local people take interest in development work because they know that it is for their own good. Therefore, they cooperate with the government agencies to timely complete such projects. Local people get trained in the working and running of administration. This experience enables them in running the state and central government subsequently. The local people become self-reliant and responsible at the time of natural calamity or any emergency. They work together for mutual help. Local self-government shares the burden of central and state government. Now, panchayat system is not new to India. ये तो सब जानते हैं इसके बारे में. It existed even in ancient times. तो पुराने समय में भी ये चलता था. And in fact, the village has been the first unit of the administration since the Vedic period. And during the Mauryan period too, and the village republics were self-governing bodies. The village panchayats used to manage their affairs, and the panchayati raj system continued during the medieval period too. The British government, however, discouraged the panchayati raj system in India. तो पहले तो ऐसा ही होता था, 5 लोग बैठा दिए जाते थे जो पंचायत के सरपंच हुआ करते थे, उन्हीं के थ्रू सारे निर्णय लिए जाते थे. लेकिन ये तो ब्रिटिश सरकार को भी अच्छा नहीं लगता था. आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस द सिस्टम वाज रिवाइव्ड एंड टुडे वी हैव दिस सिस्टम इन ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द विलेजेस ऑफ इंडिया. द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द पंचायती राज वाज टू मेक डेमोक्रेसी सक्सेसफुल एंड अचीव द टारगेट्स ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट. नाउ 3-tier system. The present Panchayati Raj system is based on the recommendations of the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act that 1993 that come into force on 22nd April 1993 provides for establishment of panchayats in all states except in some specified mostly tribal areas. The numbers of members of a panchayat may vary from state to state and with adequate representation of women and scheduled caste. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1993 recognized the following 3-tier system. Panchayat Raj at village level, panchayats at block level and panchayats at district level. So panchayats at village level first. Village panchayats have been organized in all the states nearly at a uniform basis, and in ancient times panchayats implied those 5 dignified old persons of the village who were called पंच, है ना, जो बूढ़े लोग होते थे जिन्हें बहुत एक्सपीरियंस होता था, उन्हें 5 लोगों को पंच बना दिया जाता था. एंड सॉल्व्ड ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ देयर विलेजेस देमसेल्फ. वो दोनों की बात सुनते थे और अपने एक्सपीरियंस से निर्णय करते थे. द डिसीजन ऑफ द पंचास आर कंसीडर्ड एज डिवाइन बाइंडिंग, this is on both the parties to the dispute. The panchayats were considered impartial and above board in every respect. Did you know the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee appointed in 1957 recommended in its report of 1958 the organization of a three-tier autonomous local body which will decentralize still power, and the local representative grasping the utility of development programs will complete them wholeheartedly. Organization of panchayats and village level. At present, the panchayats at village level have been organized by the formation of three independent institutions: Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat and Nyay Panchayat. The Gram Sabha is the legislative, the Gram Panchayat is the executive, and the Nyay Panchayat is judiciary. Gram Sabha, this Sabha is a meeting of all adults who live in the area covered by panchayat. This could be only one village or few villages. Anyone who is 18 years old or more and who has the right to vote is a member of the Gram Sabha. They meet at least twice a year. The Gram Sabha performs the following functions. It elects representatives who look after the day-to-day working of the panchayats. It reviews the work and accounts of income and expenditure of Gram Panchayat. It can pass a vote of no confidence against any member of the Gram Panchayat. Now, Gram Panchayat, the literal meaning of the Gram Panchayat, village Panchayat, is a committee of 5 members who are elected by the members of Gram Sabha for a period of 5 years, and the number of its members is fixed by the state government in proportion of to the population of a village. The number generally ranges from 5 to 20. The Constitution Amendment Act 1993 has reserved 30% seats for women. Women belonging to scheduled caste also find 33% seats in the women's quota. Office bearers of the Gram Panchayat, Pradhan. The Gram Panchayat elects its chairperson from amongst its members, and the chairperson of the presiding officer is known as the Pradhan or Mukhya. He calls the meetings of the Panchayat and presides over them, and he signs important documents and coordinates activities of the Panchayat. Upradhan, he officiates on behalf of the Pradhan during his absence. Panchayat Sevak, the Panchayat Secretary or Panchayat Sevak, these both the names you can take, is a government official and is a permanent employee of the Panchayat and draws a regular salary. He maintains all records, keeps accounts and prepares reports of the work performed by the Panchayats. The Panchayat also elects various committees and their chairpersons to carry out specific duties. The Gram Panchayat officials are harmony members and they do not draw any salaries for their services. Did you know every village Panchayat is divided into wards? That is smaller areas. Each ward elects a representative who is known as the ward member or panch. All the members of the Gram Sabha also elect sarpanch, who is the panchayat president. The ward panch are and the sarpanch from the Gram Panchayat. The Gram Panchayat is elected for 5 years. The Gram Panchayat has a secretary who is also the secretary of the Gram Sabha. This person is not an elected person but is appointed by the government. The secretary is responsible for calling the meeting of the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat and keeping a record of the proceedings. Now let's talk about functions of the Gram Panchayat. The Gram Panchayat is responsible for providing and maintaining basic civic amenities in the village, and its main functions include essential or compulsory functions to look after the supply of drinking water, maintaining public wells, tanks, hand pumps and minor irrigation work, construction and maintenance of village roads and waterways. तो ये खास तौर पे जो भी हमारी सुविधाएं हैं, बेसिक एमेनिटीज़ हैं, उनका ध्यान रखती थी. प्रोविजंस ऑफ लाइट्स ऑन रोड एंड स्ट्रीट, सैनिटेशन एंड पब्लिक हेल्थ, प्लांटिंग ऑफ ट्रीज, सुपरविजन ऑफ द वर्क ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट्स सच एज पटवाड़ी, that is लेखपाल, okay, and the police constable, the chokidar, the vaccinator, etc. Supervision of primary schools, protection of the interest of weaker sections, maintaining records of births and deaths. Optional of voluntary functions. Management of hospitals, maternity centers and children's centers, management of village markets, management of veterinary hospitals, supply of goods, seeds, good seeds and fertilizers, opening and maintaining libraries and reading rooms. Organizing recreation and entertaining programs such as akhadas or village sports, अखाड़ा जो जहाँ पे कुश्ती वगैरह होती है बेटा, अखाड़ाज और विलेज स्पोर्ट्स, होल्डिंग और ऑफ विलेज फेयर्स, सोर्सेज ऑफ इनकम ऑफ ग्राम पंचायत फॉर ऑल द डेवलपमेंट वर्क एंड welfare activities. The panchayat needs funds and following are the source of its income. Taxes on houses, fair and markets, fees raised from registration of sale and purchase of land, cattle and property, income from the sale of public property, grant from the government. Nyaya Panchayat, this panchayat or the village court is an important organ of the rural local self-government. Generally, there is one Nyaya Panchayat for 3 of our villages, 4 villages. Each village, select some members to the Nyaya Panchayat. No person can be a member of Nyaya Panchayat and the Gram Panchayat at the same time. तो एक ही बंदा दोनों जगह नहीं उपस्थित हो सकता. Nyaya Panchayat is headed by Sarpanch. The members of Nyaya Panchayat are called Panchas and their main function is to hear and decide minor civil and criminal cases. They can impose a fine or on the guilty party but cannot sentence him to imprisonment. तो ऐसे फाइन वगैरह लगा सकते हैं पर फांसी देने का अधिकार उन्हें नहीं है. If any party is not satisfied with this judgment, it can appeal to the higher court. तो अगर कोई भी इनके फैसले से सहमत नहीं है तो हाई कोर्ट में अपील कर सकते हैं. द एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ द न्याय पंचायत हैज़ अ ग्रेट सिग्निफिकेंस फॉर द पुअर पीपल बिकॉज इट सेव्स देम फ्रॉम अनवांटेड एक्सपेंडिचर एंड लिटिगेशन ऑन माइनर डिस्प्यूट्स एंड प्रोवाइड्स स्पीडी एंड इनएक्सपेंसिव जस्टिस टू देम. Thinking short, having the Panchayati Raj system at the village is a means to ensure democracy there. Is this statement true? If yes, then you have to tell how. Now government officials in the village, following government officials are deputed in a village. The Lekpal yani Patwari, he maintains land records and collects the land revenues. The Chokidar, he helps police in maintaining law and order in the village. Vaccinator, he implements the health policies and government and vaccinates children against diseases. These officials are not part of the panchayat, but if they do not work properly, the panchayat can complain against them to the government. Relations between the village panchayat and the state government. Each state government has passed a panchayats and act under which the panchayats have to function. The state governments can frame rules and regulations to regulate the working of the panchayats. The state government appoints inspectors on each district to help and supervise the work of the panchayats. The state government provides funds to the panchayats to carry out their official functions. If the state government finds that the panchayat is not functioning properly and efficiently, it can ask the district authorities to supersede it. Importance of the village panchayats. The village panchayats help the villagers in solving their own problems. The village panchayats teach the villagers how to elect their representatives who would serve them better. Thus, the village panchayats given the first lesson in democracy. The village panchayats teach the villagers to cooperate with one another and self-help and not to be over-dependent and on the government. The panchayats lessen the burden of the government. Let's do it. Find out the village in India where the Panchayati Raj was first inaugurated. Now we have panchayats at block level, block smiti. In the 3-tier Panchayat Raj system, the block smiti acts as intermediate level and it acts as a link between the district and the villages. In between states, block smiti is known by different names. That is, for example, Khand Vikas Samiti, Kshatriya Samiti and Panchayat Samiti. The block smiti is basically responsible for observing services that cannot be arranged by the local panchayats. For example, the services of a veterinary doctor and a dispensary. Composition. The members of the block smiti are not elected directly by the people, by all the pradhans and the panchas of the village. Panchayats in a block elect their representatives to the block smiti. Besides these elected representatives, the following members also comprise and block smitis. All the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad who are elected from the block concerned. the chairman of the town area committee and the notified area committee within the block. If there are no representatives of the women and scheduled caste in the block committee, then district offer, then these members are appointed by the district offer concerned. There must be 2 women members and 4 representatives of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes in block committee. That is basically the members of block committee elect their chairman and call the block pramukh and a vice chairman on who look after the work of the block committee in the absence of the pramukh. And if the members of the committee are not satisfied with this work, he can be removed by passing a note of no confidence against him. The block committee supervises the working of village panchayats within its jurisdiction. It prepares community development plans of the areas under its supervision. It executes minor, irrigation plans, distributes seeds, fertilizers and agricultural implements among the farmers of the area. It looks after the education of children and adults and performs welfare functions like supply of drinking water, sanitation, prevention of diseases, construction of roads, etc. It gives financial assistance to the village panchayats for carrying out development work. It scrutinizes the budgets of the panchayats, and it provides facilities for training and expert advice to the village artisans. The meeting of the Panchayat Samiti are attended by block different officers BDO. The chairman and the block development officer BDO mutually cooperate the implementation of the plans of the block Samiti. Sources of income: the block Smiti has to arrange funds to meet its expenses. The source of its income include taxes levied on lands and houses, cattle and fairs, funds from village for providing them expert services, grant in aid from the state government. Panchayats at district level, Jila Parishad. The Jila Parishad is the third and the highest level body of the Panchayati Raj system. It has been very important administrative until a unit since the days of the British rule. Important officials like district collector, district police officer and district judge functions from the district headquarters, which is usually the most important town in the district. The Jila Parishad serves as a link between the state government and block Samiti within the district. Now, cosmoposition. The cosmoposition of the Jila Parishad is quite similar of that of a block Samiti on a bigger scale. Of course, it is composed of the following members: the chairman of the block Samiti, block Pramukhs, this is also called block Pramukhs in the district. Members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha representing the district, members of the Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad representing the district, representatives of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, representatives of the women. The members of the Jila Parishad elect a chairman and a vice chairman. The chairman presides over the meetings, and these officers hold their office as long as they enjoy the confidence of the members of the Jila Parishad, and if their performance is not satisfactory, they can be removed from the office by passing of a vote of no confidence. The decision are taken by a majority vote in the Jila Parishad. The Jila Parishad and block Smitis appoint from amongst themselves a number of subcommittees to perform different functions. These includes subcommittees or education, public health, planning, finance, agriculture, animal husbandry, family planning, etc. The Deputy Development Commissioner or an officer for the same rank is the Chief Executive cum Secretary of the Jila Parishad. He is the government's representative in the Jila Parishad. Now we have its functions. It gives the advice to the state government on the work of panchayats and block smitis. It implements all the programs under the 5 years plans. It guides and supervises agricultural production and the development programs of the district. And it prepares a plan of the district which based upon the development plans, plans prepared by the block smitis. It distributes and funds received from the government among the block smitis. Sources of income: the Jilla Parishad levies taxes and receives rents from the shops and houses owned by it, and it receives grants from the state government. Let's do it, bachcho. Visit a nearby rural area and find out the actual names of local self-governing bodies, the seats reserved for women in these local bodies, any one task done by the panchayat and why. Significance of Panchayati Raj. The Constitution of India directs the government to establish Panchayati Raj in our country. Mahatma Gandhi was a strong supporter of Panchayati Raj system in India. The significance of Panchayati Raj in India may be explained as under. It has brought about political awakening in rural India. It has brought the government close to the people. The panchayats have succeeded in improving the condition of the villages by various welfare activities and development plans. It has created awareness among the rural people by making them literate and educated. The state governments and Panchayati Raj. The state governments have been empowered to pass the laws for constituting the different institutions of Panchayati Raj. The state government helps the panchayats by giving them financial grants to carry out their plan for their improvement of the villages. It keeps a watch on the work of the various institutions of the Panchayati Raj, and it appoints a secretary at the district level who maintains account and keep records of the work done by these institutions. At the district level, the collector or the deputy commissioner looks after and coordinates the work of the Panchayati Raj and the district administration. At the block level, this coordination is done by the block development officer. These institutions of local self-government have helped strengthen democracy in our country and also help bring about social change. In a large country like ours, where there are so many problems related to development and people living in different regions with different needs, the Panchayat Raj system is very important. This system should be further strengthened, and let's do it, bachcho. Find out more about the functions of panchayats and also find the improvements in their work in recent times. Okay, बच्चों, कुछ एक्सरसाइजेस दिए गए हैं, चले उन्हें इनिशिएट करते हैं उन्हें करने के लिए. टिक द करेक्ट आंसर इन नंबर 1. तो चलिए चूज़ करिए करेक्ट आंसर और फिल द इन द ब्लैंक्स. तो हमें इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड ढूंढना है जिसके थ्रू हम इसको कंप्लीट कर सकें. राइट ट्रू और फॉल्स, तो करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट के साथ ट्रू एंड रॉन्ग के साथ फॉल्स. आंसर द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस ब्रीफली एंड आंसर द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस इन डिटेल. तो ब्रीफली आप आंसर करेंगे 3-4 लाइन्स में और डिटेल के लिए एक्सप्लेनेशन देंगे आप from the chapter. Skills enrichment zone, fun activity, divide the class into 3-4 groups and hold a group discussion on the topic Panchayati Raj in India. Activity which is visit a nearby village and watch the functioning of Nyay Panchayat, prepare a report of the proceedings of the Nyay Panchayat and out of the box. If you were the village sarpanch, what would you do to ensure that every child in the village attended school compulsory compulsory होना चाहिए उनके लिए and regularly. Okay, and while doing this, have fun, enjoy.